Oh, thanks. I had fun. Hello, hello. Uh, Nothing. Audrey's watching TV and I'm streaming. Streaming. No, I didn't see him when he came. I was lying down, but so I thought he was coming by tomorrow. He texted he was going to come by tomorrow, but he. Okay, bye. Yeah, it was fun. I would have liked to have stayed a little longer, but the person I was with wasn't feeling well, so we left earlier than uh, my original plan. Okay, where's Urban Sketchers, Twin Cities? There. Um, Urban Sketchers, Twin Cities, where are we? um, so, yes, it was fun. What did you do today? More roofers? No, you didn't have roofers. Who has the roofers? Someone else. I didn't get to the post office with your pen. Maybe I will tomorrow. I wrote your letter. You gave plasma. How have you been doing with your exercises, your pushing and pulling exercises? Oh, okay. Well, try the what do you call it? Try using the thinnest ink you can. Schaefer is really thin, I find. And maybe practice with the pen that flows the most, even if it doesn't have a huge range. If it has a little tiny bit of range, you should still be able to practice. Hello, Biley. Are you in Algeria yet or still in Paris? No, don't use Noodler's ink. It's too thick, I think. If you have Waterman or Schaefer or Mont Blanc, Parker, all of that is better. Uh, so you're in Algeria now, right? Vous êtes en Algérie maintenant? Okay, Parker. Use Parker. So find a pen, whatever pen you think flows the best. That's the one that you can practice with, even if it has a little tiny bit of a flex. Just practice the circles and the ups and downs and the J's. So you've had a good time in Algeria, Biley? So your parents live in Paris, or do they live in Algeria? Okay, see you. Yeah, it was pretty good. Hey, Rob, how are you? Come on. Join me. We'll tell ghost stories. Click on the little button, the link, if you can. We can chat without typing. If you want. There you are. Add to stream. Hello. Oh, you got to make your.
There we go.
There you are.
Hello there.
I'm just.
Hello.
You got to make your. Okay, you have
There we go.
to close the
Hello there.
thing. So we don't.
Hello.
You got to make your.
I have to make the YouTube go away.
Make the YouTube, and we'll still talk.
Okay. I
Or
did
just-
that.
You did that. Okay, good.
So now I'm okay.
You're fine. We're not
Great.
having echoes. Or
No
feedback.
echoes.
Okay.
I learned that the last time,
Yes, and you.
but I forgot.
That's
How are
okay.
you?
I'm okay. I'm in Minnesota.
You are in Minnesota. Wow.
Yeah. The basement got a burst pipe, so we had to empty out anything that was in the basement to have it dried out. There was only 2 inches of water, but it took a while for it to be understood that it was even there, I guess. So they had to remove everything, and they put it in this warehouse with this anti-mold spray or atmosphere to kill all the mold. And then they'll, some of the things are lost. Nothing particularly valuable, but there's a couch and a rug, a couple of rugs, the carpeting. The downstairs was carpeted. This is a walkout basement.
Yeah.
So it's above ground on the one side of the house. So it's not just nasty, cold cement basement that you normally expect in the Midwest. So anyway, that's being done. And then they have to pull up the asbestos floor tile.
Yikes.
And then but anyway, so they asked me to come, my brothers asked me to come out here to help deal with that.
Yeah.
And then we're using this time also to finally start putting some of the things that we inherited from my father and my mother, I guess. My father inherited my mother's half of the house and
Right.
then inherited from him. Put things, decide what we want to keep and what we want to sell. So we're starting with that process. And then Todd mainly will have to decide whether he wants to move into this house, which means he'd have to sell his house to do it. But this is by far the better house, I think, to live in.
Yeah.
But if he decides he can't do it and will sell the house, and which means everything has to be moved out of it, including my high school French book and all of the paintings I did and all the paintings my father did and all the stuff.
Yeah.
So that, and then we have to find room for that up at the lake. Or so some things are going to go to the lake, some things will be sold. But if Todd keeps the house here, is able once he has to live somewhere, and if he chooses to live here, I said he doesn't have to buy me out. He'll just buy my brother out, a third, and then I'll own a third. He'll own 2/3, I guess. But at this point, I'm not trying to push him into doing anything.
Right.
And I think it's a decision he has to make. So we're not getting any younger, and
Yep.
owning a big house maybe isn't a good thing, but we also are pack rats, as you know, and things are important to us. So
Yes.
things. Oh, Billy says bonsoir. Billy's from Paris most of the time, but he's from Algeria at the moment.
Oh my.
Lily Jacob.
Wow.
So,
Oh,
so
I see.
did you buy any of the Frank Krinky pens, whatever his name is?
I
Fred.
bought a few of them.
Okay.
Fred Krinky.
Krinky. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what people have bought, and they show online what they bought, and some of them seem kind of iffy. Not so much iffy. Well, yes, iffy. Like they got
Mine were kind of iffy.
yours were iffy too. Okay.
I bought the iffy ones too. Are you seeing them? Where are you seeing them on? Like
Isaacson's thing. I don't know
what's
who's
that?
bought. They're on Isaacson's Facebook page, the fountain pen collector, whatever it is.
Oh, on a Facebook page. Yeah, I bought a few things. I bought I think I bought 15 lots.
Oh wow.
And usually when I buy a bunch of pens, there's in this manner, there
Yeah.
are a few pleasant surprises and a few disappointments.
But
And this time
no
there was
pleasant surprises.
there were slightly more disappointments than pleasant surprises.
Yeah.
One thing I had high hopes for was this, which is
20? No.
well, no, it's like the equivalent, the Swan equivalent of an 18.
Okay.
It's a very big
Swan.
safety screw cap type
Eye drop fill.
eye drop fill, and it has a dip nib in it, which I knew was probably not correct.
Yeah.
And maybe Fred put it in there.
Yeah.
But it turns out to have no iridium.
Oh.
So,
Okay. So.
that kind of stuff. And I paid like $600 for this.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That hurts. I mean, the pen itself must be worth 300, I would think, without it. But or 400 or 5, maybe a little bit.
I mean, if it had a big maybe Todd dip nib in it that was a pleasure to use, it would have been well worth it.
Or just a regular 8, maybe,
or regular 8 Swan nib, yeah.
The nail nib.
Yes.
At least it would be worth it for the pen value. But
yes.
well, the pictures that people were sending me were, they got this, but it has a more modern nib and the wrong feed, and I mean, if I were to die tomorrow and my pens would go up, there'd be a lot of disappointments there too. But but they'd all say, "Oh my God, this has a great nib." It's the wrong nib, but
I
boy,
know, yes.
you know,
And but with Fred's pen, it was just that's the wrong nib.
and it's
End of comment.
and
No, it was the wrong nib, but it's great. No, it wasn't like that.
but in your case, it's not the right nib, and it's broken.
It's the wrong nib, and it's broken, and it's not great. Yes, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I love these old swans. Like, here's a swan with the holes,
yeah,
with the holes. But then it turns out that it's got like, and it's got one of those.
It has other holes. No, what does
it? Oh, then it turns out that the cap is cracked,
okay.
and it has one of those gold overfeeds.
Yeah,
but it's the wrong size nib, and it's just the wrong size feed and the wrong size everything.
I see.
So,
Well, whoever was in charge of the auction didn't.
This was all right.
A swan, another swan.
This is a swan stenograph.
Oh, okay.
Which is this lovely, like a 52.5.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Yeah.
And now sometimes they actually have lovely nibs with gold overfeeds. I have a perfect one with a gold overfeed, and they usually have they're almost like the Waterman artist nib pen, because all of them seem to have lovely, very fine, flexible nibs. This one has a number 2 nib that's fine and somewhat flexible and okay. And I'm wondering maybe I don't know if it was the original or not, but I've never had one before that was a bulb filler. It's a bulb filler.
Oh, neat. Cool.
So, and it was, like the least expensive of the pens that I bought. It was only like a regular price instead of a. It was only like $100 instead of $600. No.
Okay, good.
And here was a nice a Maxima with a legitimate
Aero nib. Yeah.
Flexible vacuumatic nib, flexible Maxima nib.
Yeah.
That is hard to find, and I paid pen show price for.
Now Maxima, is that the largest size they made then?
The largest size of the later oversized vacuumatics, later large vacuumatics, as opposed to.
It doesn't look that big. But
yeah.
Okay.
So this is an oversized.
Gray one is an oversized. Yep.
And this is a Maxima.
Okay.
And they are they are the large. They are both the large size, and this is
at the time. Okay.
Yeah, and so there was this oversized, which is like one of the nicest gray oversized I've seen.
Yeah.
Usually the gray trim is all pitted and gross and stuff, and this is nice.
Yeah.
It's not working, so that was a little bit of a disappointment after I'd found this Maxima that actually was, had a functioning diaphragm in it, so I don't have to worry about fixing it. This one is not working, but it's, it's very nice. It's a very nice oversized. It came with this pencil, which has a slightly different
clip.
The clip isn't quite the same, so I'm not sure it came with it. But on the other hand, it's a large size pencil.
Okay.
With the triple bands.
Yeah.
It's like the large size pencil from the Maxima era as opposed to the oversized era.
Okay.
It's not the real fat oversized pencil that's the same shape as a streamlined duofold senior pencil.
Yeah.
Which is lovely. So this is later and not as lovely as the big massive one.
I think I only have one of those. Like, it's inflated with air a little bit.
It's like
better.
Here is one.
Yeah.
Although it probably doesn't look as dramatic from.
No, it does. I mean, that looks fat.
Yes, and it's
They're really great pencils. I love
yeah.
those.
Um,
Look at your hairdo, your COVID do.
yeah,
Very-
yeah.
Sorry.
I haven't had a haircut in 1 year here,
Oh dear.
so that wait. Oh wait, that's the pen. I meant to find a pencil. I meant to find a. So here is a. No, I put the wrong thing back. So here's a Duofold Senior streamlined pen sole.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
And the oversized
Oh, neat.
oversized pencil. Very nice.
Oh.
And however, I did recently get this, which I love. It's a British streamlined oversized with that engraving.
What does it say? I don't see what it says.
It says W.G. Griffin, W.C. Griffin, 22nd January 1937. I like dates.
Yeah.
Like it when there's dates. And it had an oblique nib, so that's why
You paid top gouge retail.
I did in fact pay top gouge retail.
Okay. It's not really focusing that well, but lovely. Oh, Rob, I need to send you a picture of something if I can find it here. How do I send it to you? By what would be the easiest way?
Skype or vintagewriting@gmail.com.
Okay, let's see if I can find where it is. It's one of my favorite things to see when I go to the museum of in Minneapolis. So I'm sending you the part of it here. Are you using your phone, or can I send it to you as a text?
You can send it to me as a text also if you like.
I just want you to see it now. So are you using your phone to talk to me, or are you using a?
I'm not using my phone to talk to you.
Okay, well look at that picture that I sent you on your phone. Is it there?
No.
What number did I send it to?
I don't know.
Info. Oh, I sent it somehow. I don't see that it's info. 828-298-0331.
That's my landline at my home phone.
See. Okay, well, let me send it to you.
So do you want me to send you a message from my actual
Yeah, send me a
cell
message.
phone?
Yeah.
Let me see. Contacts, peer.
I just want you to see it now because it's kind of fun.
857-268-8894.
Correct. I went to the Museum of Fine Arts today, and no, I'm sorry, the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, the Minneapolis version of the MFA, and it was quite lovely. So I'm sending you this first. That's made of leather.
Whoa.
It's about 2 feet tall.
Whoa.
So it's made of tooled leather.
Is it like an inkstand type of thing? What is it? Or is it just a architectural sculpture?
Well, you'll see the rest in a second. You got it right on one. It's an inkwell.
Oh my God.
I'm seeing if I have the label.
So the second picture is of a different inkwell, but equally elaborate, but not made of leather.
Well, it's the leather thing is a carrying case for the other thing.
Oh my
That's a
God.
suitcase.
Oh my God.
And so it's the Kochi inkstand, 1792, and it was given to Pope Pius the Sixth.
By whom?
I didn't.
You didn't get that part of the card.
I didn't get that part of the card, but
That's amazing. That's incredible.
yeah.
So like all those little domes and things, you like open up and there's your sepia ink and your black ink and your
Well,
red ink.
if you look at the actual silver thing, I imagine there's maybe 3 inkwells,
Yeah.
and then there's a drawer underneath that would have your pens, and then I don't know what the obelisk had underneath it, a rectal thermometer or something. Who knows?
All right. Yes. Wow.
I'll show the people at home what this is. This is an ink.
Amazing.
So it's lapis lazuli in gold and silver. And the carrying case looks very much like it's from Ivan the Terrible.
That's amazing.
This tooled leather.
I know it looks like it's an instrument of torture for the inkstand. It's like, tell me your secrets or I'll put you back in this case.
Yes, it's the Iron Maiden, the leather
Iron Maiden for the inkwell. Oh
no! Anyway, so anyway, I went to the museum today and I did some drawings on my iPad. I posted on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm having fun here on these StreamYard things. It's fun getting pen collectors. This guy named Afix Data really loves Schaefer pens, especially of the Touchdown and Snorkel.
Yeah.
You know, more modern era. And I'll see if he wants to join us. But let me just.
I did get this.
Oh, okay. And why?
Why? Because it had a label that says extra fine on it.
Okay. Well,
look, it's focusing properly, all on its own.
It's what?
It's focusing properly, all on its own.
Well, because it's focusing on the fine, the extra fine, or whatever the.
And there was also an oversized Schaefer with a flexible nib. So I did get this.
Okay. That looks like it's nice.
I know you can tell.
So, well, I could tell.
I know you can tell. You can tell instantly.
Even out of focus, I could. Just make a line with it, Rob. Just do it. Yep. I can see. The nib goes further forward another half a centimeter than it's supposed to.
It's actually really good.
Is it snappy?
It's a little bit snappy. It's not super soft.
Okay.
It's but it's finer than most of these type of nibs that you see. It's finer and stiffer than most. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Than this era, than the ones of this era. This one I would expect to be a little bit earlier than the pen.
Okay.
But it has a 5 million serial number, and most of them have 4. So I don't know. But this is the one that's very long nib with straight lines going out, and of, very elongated shape. And I normally see those on slightly earlier versions of the balance, not the 1937 radial clip balance. But like I said, it has this late serial number, so maybe it is. And it has and the one thing about the sale was that everything seemed to have been messed with.
Yes. Well, yes. And if my pens were sold tomorrow,
but not messed with by you is different. These were messed with by Fred Krinke, who I don't really know from Adam. I mean, I guess I've met him. I don't know. I think I've seen him at shows. Yeah. But if I were buying pens that were messed with by Pierre Gustafson, I'd know again that they were improved.
They were improved, yes. They probably would have a better nib in them.
It would have a better nib in them, and it would fit right, and it would, it'd be the right size, and it would write beautifully.
They might have the wrong feed, or they might have a more modern nib than maybe they should have, but at least the nib is good. They wouldn't be necessarily flexible. They might be really, really fine.
Well, yes, and I know that you, last time I saw you, you were going through a
rigid phase or fine phase or
fine firm phase.
Accountant nib phase. Accountant though are not entirely firm. They have a little tiny bit of flexibility, which is just delightful.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I've never seen the accountant ones that are like that. Usually, when they say accountant, it means they are nail like it. At least the ones I've seen.
No, try them out again. Try them out again.
Okay. Well, I do notice that, like the 100-year nibs, both the 17 and the 18 size, there's firm and there's rigid.
Oh, yeah.
And the ones that are marked firm are have a little give and are often, very like what you like.
Yeah.
But the ones labeled rigid are in fact rigid.
Yeah.
Like Schaefer Lifetime.
Yeah.
But I will look at those, but because the account nibs that I'm used to seeing are the 20s or 30s, like for example, the 20s or 30s #2 size. And if they say account, you know that
you start playing with them.
All right.
Really, really great. If you can just expect that they're going to go from 0 to 0.5. But
right.
That range is really fun.
I know, that's okay. Yes, that's okay with me. It's hard to explain to anybody else, but
if the range, if the fine to the broad, the broadest it can make, is different enough. It's like an early, or not necessarily early, but a flexible 51 nib. That's very.
Yes.
When they can have that little bit of oomph to them.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is really, really, really good.
True. Okay, would it screw you up if I went to the bathroom and got a beer?
I tell you what, we'll race.
Will it mess with your schedule?
My beer is a near beer, so if I'm not back fast enough, it's because the carrot isn't big enough for me to run fast to the thing. But yes, go pee and come back.
I'm going to get one right now. You've got your pen cam on.
I got my pen cam. This one says, this is I bought on eBay a lot that had maybe three Parker 45s
Yeah.
plus Parker 21 plus maybe a 61. I forget what else. Must have been something good, but I added value to all of these things, and lo and behold, I got it. And so I started seeing if they worked and putting things together. And one of them had a really, really fine nib on them. And I ended up putting it into this pen, which I have pens that have names on them. And this is Wendell R. Anderson, governor of Minnesota. So he was the governor during this era.
Whoa.
So these are given out to people that, gave him money from the lobbyists or whatever they were.
Yeah.
This one has this really, really fine, slightly flexible nib. I don't know if this is extra fine or just fine.
Are they gold or stain or?
This is gold.
Very nice.
Bob Anderson attended my desk organization classes.
Excuse me?
Do you see what he said on the text? Bob Anderson added, "Hi, Pierre. I see Mr. Morrison attended your desk organization classes."
That's me. Yes.
Rob, you got an A+, if I remember. You were the best in class.
I was, yes. I was the best in the class. That's right. I organized my desk in the manner closest to yours of anyone else.
Yes. So I had a lot of people on this channel and people that wanted me to review a Parker 45, which generally are, I don't want to say they're beneath contempt. That's too strong a word.
That's very strong, but
very, very strong. But there is something about pens that were meant to be used with cartridges that somehow they're just cheating or something.
Yes.
They're just cheating.
You're right. You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Do not let them bully you.
But anyway, so I put converters in these, and I thought, and I did. There was something about these pens, the ones that were avocado green to match your refrigerator back in that
Yeah.
era, that I sort of liked. But anyway, I thought, well, let me find out if I like these pens because, as you know, the 51 took a long time to grow on me because, of course, I hated the 51, as
Yeah.
did you. And now, of course, we
We
love
had
them.
the
So
same we had the same road to Damascus moment here, both of us at different, like, 20 years apart. I'm like,
and
oh my
Otto,
God,
Otto Yang as well.
I
Otto
get
called
it.
me up.
Yes.
Otto Yang called me up and said, "Pierre, I get it." And he didn't have to tell me what. And you did the same thing. You
Yeah.
called me up and said, "I get it. I finally get it, Pierre." So anyway, so this pen, I thought maybe I'm going to have a get it moment, but the only one that I have discovered that I actually like because of the balance, the weight balance, and they're like almost weightless, these pens,
Yeah.
is the desk pen version of this pen.
Ah.
And there's something that maybe because it's not as heavy and lopsided with the cap on, but they're long enough and they seem right to me. But I've noticed the problem with this pen that I don't have with a 51 is I often end up writing with it not right side up. You know, I turn it to the side and it skips because I'm writing on the side of the nib.
Hmm.
So there's no iridium. I mean, there's no capillary action possible. And that happens all the time. And I don't know if it's because my lighting is so dim that I can't tell. But right now, looking at it, this is right side up, but you can't tell that by looking at it because
Well, I can't tell from here. Oh,
well,
now I can.
but you can hear. It's only when the light reflects, you know.
Oh,
But so it all sort of looks the same, and I don't have that problem with a 51. I don't understand why. Maybe I'm so used to
no, the 51 should be the one that gives you that problem,
it should be, but it doesn't.
but it
Maybe
does.
just because
Yeah.
I know well enough what that shape looks like. You know that this shape is more symmetrical all the
That's
way around,
true.
or
Yes.
this one isn't.
That,
Maybe
yeah, okay.
that has that sort of bow shape.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's very interesting. So I'm trying to understand this pen enough so I can tell people why I like it or why I don't like it. I did get my brother worked at a school, a Montessori school, and one of his fellow administrative types gave me 4 pens. Esterbrook, black Esterbrook, this beautiful wherever with price sticker,
Oh, look at that.
and it actually has that sort of a nicer wherever nib that has a little bit of flex to it.
Yeah, and it has
But
actual iridium, maybe.
it may be, and it has that overfeed thing that they throw.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's surprisingly works better than I thought it would. And then the other 2 pens were a one of the good kind of 21s that looks like a 51.
Yes,
You know, it
right.
has a small hole that doesn't break as much. And the last one was a 45 flighter. So,
I
and
thought
that,
I saw a 45 flighter in your hand there.
huh?
I thought I saw a 45 flighter in your hand.
That was a 51 flighter, but
Oh, okay.
there's a 45 flighter here somewhere.
Okay.
On one of my many messy desks here.
You don't have to explain because, as you know, as
As
we
you-
just discussed,
we understand.
I understand your method of desk organization. Yeah.
But the thing about the 45 flighter that made me I thought that would be the perfect pen for a dentist. 9 out of 10 dentists approve of the 45 flighter because it just looks like one of their instruments. It's narrow and thin and lightweight. So if you had a pocket of these, if you had a pocket full of these pens,
Uh-huh.
45s in your pocket, you wouldn't walk with a tilt. You'd you wouldn't go in circles, because of
Right.
tipping you over.
Or your neckband of your shirt would not be distorted toward your pocket
Yes, yes,
like this.
yes. You wouldn't look like you had a mastectomy.
Yes,
You would look. I mean, there is something very nice about the lightness of them,
they
ex-
are light. Yeah.
except when you hold them in your hand, they're too light in your hand.
Well, and also, there's something about I have one of those converters here somewhere. The
Yeah,
converter has a nice substantial look to it. It's like it's made to be a device on its own
yeah,
somehow. I don't know. I had one. I don't know where it is.
yeah.
It's,
Yeah. I mean, they do. There's sort of more parts in the converter than there is in the pen.
yeah, they have a lot of parts. I had to buy a bunch of these trays from Gary Lehrer.
You had to.
I had to
You had to.
because the piles of pens were just getting too large.
I have to show you the desk that I'm sitting at. This is I think you'd appreciate it. It's
Oh my goodness, look at that. That's charming.
it's what it used to be, either a spinet piano or maybe a harpsichord.
Wow.
And it has all of these cute little drawers.
Oh man, yes. When they come out,
And they come out.
weird. It was like designed for a pen collector.
It was. And there's spots for your ink. So it has three, the bottom drawers here are extra long. So it has 2, 4, 5, 10, 16 little drawers.
That's cool.
And little cabinets for your ink pots.
So you say it's a piano of some kind?
I think it used to be, it was a piano, either I think they're called spinets or a harpsichord. Let me see if I can find a picture here. Spinet.
And have the innards been removed somehow?
All the innards have been moved, and
Oh.
the I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. See, a spinet piano looks. This would have been a harpsichord, because the spinet piano looks kind of like that. With harp and strings going behind. But
I have one of those in my house.
let me.
By the way, if you have one of those, they have an actual negative value.
They do.
You have to pay someone to take it away.
Okay? Let me try a harpsichord. Okay. Why am I harpsichord?
See, your parents were pack rats, but they pack ratted things that were more interesting than my parents pack ratted. So I was not lost on me that when you were discussing your plans, you said we have to figure out where to move things to. You didn't say anything about getting rid of anything.
I didn't, did I?
No, you didn't mention that. It was, you went right to, we have to like buy a warehouse. Or, yeah, there wasn't any discussion of any estate sale or any landfills, roll-offs, I believe. What are those big dumpsters that you can rent?
Uh-huh.
I did that at my house. We just threw things away into it. But
it actually might be a flip, vintage antique flip top. I mean, it looks like this, but my Mark's is one like this too, except it's a little bit. No, it's about this size, I think. So anyway, it's quite lovely. I would love to have it in Boston, but I can't. I don't have room.
You don't have room. You don't have room.
I don't have room.
No.
No, no room.
Every bit of room is already occupied with some other object.
Yes. Yes. I'm working on that anti-gravity device so I can start using the ceiling as a floor.
So you can start, all of that unoccupied space right around your head.
Yes.
There's still some of that, not as much as with most people's apartments, because a lot of it is already been. You have already found a way to put some of it to use. So that area up around here.
Yeah, my stalagmites
Yes.
architectural storage. But from when I helped you move that I use every cubic inch of space.
I do know that. Yes.
Ben Tipping, who you remember, you talked with.
Yes.
He had an epileptic fit in my house, a horrible one. I didn't know he had. I didn't know he had that condition, so he was just on the floor. I thought he was having a heart attack. I had no idea what was wrong, and eventually I called the 911, and they showed up with the gurney, and the fireman came in, and the fireman with his best Medford Somerville accent is a fire hazard. And
places. He said, what did he say?
A fire hazard.
How did he identify your place?
It's a fire hazard.
This place is a fire hazard. Yeah.
And I said, sir, fire needs fuel. I've got that. It needs heat. Might have that. It needs oxygen. There isn't any room for oxygen.
There isn't any oxygen.
There's not a molecule of oxygen to spare in this.
I was just going to say, Pierre, I mean, there's an epileptic fit is the one activity that is not suitable to perform in your apartment.
Actually, in this particular case, it was because Ben had fallen down. I was moving a big hollow core door so we could sit down and do something. And I sort of was lifting it up off of way up there somewhere, pulling it and moving it around. And he suddenly was on the floor. And I thought I hit him with this thing. And then he was sort of doing this kind of stuff. And I thought he's, hamming it up. But what he had done was he sort of fell down and wedged himself between a bookcase and another bookcase. So he was it's like if you're on an airplane in an airplane bathroom, that's where you want to have an epileptic seizure, because you can't flail around. You can't.
Okay.
Arms crazy because
I can see there might be two schools of thought. Yeah, whether you want to have room to flail around or whether you want to be coddled and contained.
Because you could hurt yourself by breaking your arm by hitting a wall if you get enough speed.
Right.
But so
okay.
So or knocking things over, or he was kicking and his arms were going around, and I sort of sat on him, and I to keep him still, and he didn't know who I was. This old man sitting on him.
Wow.
So anyway, he's all better now, but
well, yeah. I guess, how do you handle, I guess you can't just tell every new acquaintance that you meet, by the way, I'm epileptic, so if I have a seizure, I guess you can't just go around telling everybody that.
No.
That's a dilemma.
He's only in my presence. That's only happened once. But he was sort of acting. We had brunch at a restaurant down the street, and he wasn't feeling all that well, but I didn't, of course I didn't know what was. It was a very hot day. I thought maybe that was it. So by the time it started happening, I thought it could have been food poisoning. I really honestly had no idea. So, but now I do. So if he does that again, at least I'll know that if I can kind of keep him quiet and
Right.
sit on him, it'll go away after a fashion. But anyway, who else is in the room here? Talk, you people. There's 9 people watching us.
Pierre, I was scrolling through Instagram and I couldn't help noticing you getting into it with our friend George Bruno.
Do you follow him?
I started following him because he seemed like an interesting guy, and
then you read what he said.
And then I learned more than I wanted to know. Yes.
I know. It's just, it drives me crazy that he's seemed like a nice guy.
Yes.
But he's this wacky male dominant, women.
Yeah.
Have you watched any of his?
I watched one thing that he was in where he's just I mean, I don't understand what it is. It's like it comes out of, I don't understand the sociology of the world he's in, but
No.
I know it exists.
Yeah, I do.
And I find it very strange.
It's very weird, and it's just weird. I mean, he's not as weird as the people that follow him. At least his followers are, Q people, I think.
I think they are.
And
you educate yourself, you moron. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
You can't believe everything you hear in the mainstream media. Yeah.
Today's thing, huh?
That's what I mean. That's what I saw today. It's like, oh, poor Pierre. He's really stepping it now.
He talked about a month ago or so, someone had posted something, and eventually someone came back with, once I started telling my wife what to do, everything was okay. And that's what she wanted.
Okay.
And his response to that guy's response was, I've been waiting a long time to hear that. And the way he worded it made me think that that's what he thinks everyone should be like.
I see.
I said, I didn't get the memo. Again, I don't have a wife, and as a gay man, I guess I don't see things this way. And then he said, what you do or don't do with your penis. So he's implying that I'm some sort of bottom, that, penises are done to me rather than vice versa.
Do you think that, I mean, is by analogy, he would respect you more if you were a
top? I have no idea, but and he said, I thought you were a nice guy. And I said, I am a nice guy. I just don't understand the way you implied that this one size fits all sort of mentality is correct. I don't doubt that a lot of people out there are happy with that, but no one I know likes that.
I don't know. I was just hearing the Trump stuff, and I find it alarming.
Well, he also, I think he's a Christian, and he also believes in using chopsticks to stir his tea because it changes the molecular. No. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's like that. There was a cartoon recently that says it's a guy on his computer talking to his wife. Honey, I found something that all of the world's experts have been ignoring. That's all. That's it. That's the joke.
Oh, I see. There's no.
I don't remember. I mean, the wording was a bit better, so you could sort of. It's basically a lot of guys on the web becoming better epidemiologists than
Otto Yang. than Otto Yang.
Than Otto Yang or Dr. And by the way, I mean, I just want these people who don't want to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
I mean, I,
Do you, do
you know, there was a vaccine in 1959 that I didn't get.
Yeah, and
And so I have this.
you have the proof. Yeah, yeah. I have to. You know Randy Rainbow, of course.
Yes, yes.
Did you hear the newest one about the vaccine?
No, I don't think so.
It's to the who did Mr. Mailman, send me a dream. It's Mr. Biden, bring my vaccine.
My vaccine? Yes.
I'll just play a little bit of it for you here because it's funny. He's so brilliant, that guy, and his name is actually Rainbow.
Is it really?
It is.
Wow.
His name is, in fact, Randy Rainbow. It's his father was a musical director or production. What do they call people that produces musicals? So,
I
anyway.
think I heard him on Stephanie Miller. Stephanie Miller has a liberal radio show that's on at 8 in the morning or 8 in the morning here in the Midwest, 9 in the East. And I think she had him on recently, and he's hilarious.
Okay, here you go.
Girl, we have a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about.
As the coronavirus continues to wreak havoc, Americans are getting restless and frustrated, if you know what I mean.
One of the disappointments when we came into office is to how the administration was handling COVID was even more dire than we thought. We thought that indicated there was a lot more vaccine available. It didn't turn out to be the case because we're doing so much testing.
Huh? Oh, excuse me. I think I must have fallen.
You don't ask Biden questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, I'm still having flashbacks.
Me too.
It's me in my dreams.
So we're pushing as hard as we can to get more vaccine manufactured.
You now say we'll have enough supply for every adult to be vaccinated by May. Does this mean I can go to Cancun for spring break with Ted Cruz and the gals?
Well, I didn't say that.
Mr. Biden, bring my vaccine. Keep me protected from COVID-19. Tell me the trick to how I'm Moderna. Fix up that magic Pfizer or Moderna. Biden, give me a poke. They call you sleepy, but you're pretty woke. I'm so tired of quarantine. Mr. Biden, bring my vaccine. Please bring me Here's Joe Biden. Where's my vaccine? I need a rollout that's good for a queen. Grab your syringe, but make sure you clean it. And stick it in me like you really mean it. Hey,
Anyway, goes on and on. You'll have to watch it.
I will. Thank you.
Better. Mighty Mouse is watching us here. Mighty Mouse is, Don Kim recently bid on your flexible Schaefer balance. Can you see the comments here?
I cannot because I went out of YouTube.
I think there might be a way to do it.
But I can go back onto YouTube and turn off the sound, right? No, I can't, can I? Can
Yeah,
I?
I don't know.
Here,
I think Anyway, Don Kim said he recently bid on your flexible Schaefer balance.
I had one recently. I don't know if I have one. I don't have one at the moment, but I had one that sold recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Mighty Mouse,
And they're very nice.
who's a Canadian-born woman who now lives in Denmark, is quite liberal, and we enjoy not liking SBRE Brown videos.
Oh, I
just-
don't know anything about him. I've seen his videos and they seem kind of entertaining. So
they're-
what am I missing?
you're missing the fact that he has the David Isaacson, I know everything kind of
Oh,
the way he presents things seems like he knows more than we do, and he's deigning to share his stuff with us, his knowledge, which is
he has a condescending manner.
not entirely, but there's just something. First of all, each video starts out with this Gregorian chant shit, like, you know, it's coming from the voice of God, and then he always starts out with "Hello there," you know, with both hands, talking to you. You know?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And
It's been a long time. I saw one like years and years ago, and then I watched it. I don't actually follow him,
yeah,
but he seemed like I saw him at the beginning when he first started, and then I saw him again, you know, a month ago or something. Watched one of them, so I'm not really up on him.
but the other thing that I don't like is he will talk. You'll see his face
Yeah,
for like 10 minutes before you see the pen he's going to talk about.
yes.
And then you see his face for another 5 minutes. And then he finally turns the camera around. And then, you know, how many times can the quick brown fox jump over the lazy dog?
Oh, he does writing samples using that
Yeah.
sentence.
But in his handwriting is very, is pedestrian too strong a word? It's just, there's no there.
Yeah,
And I don't see any difference between how he writes with this pen or how he writes with that pen. And
right.
the pen will want us to write really small, or vertical lettering, or block lettering versus script, because of the way the pen is telling us what to do. And kind of, you know, pens and Stoic. Mighty Mouse says pens and Stoic philosophy is what he's into.
Stoic philosophy. Okay, is that the ancient equivalent of Ayn Rand?
it might be.
I mean, is that the modern cognate? Is Ayn Rand the modern cognate?
The ancient cognate of Ayn Rand Ayn Rand would be the modern
Yes.
cognate Stoic.
I'm going to see if I can. What if I'm going to try YouTube. Yeah, let's just make everybody wait while we sort out our
our technical issue.
My technical about our
our technical issue.
my technical. Okay, I muted it. Does that help?
I think so. I think it works.
Does it work? So now I'm talking to you on whatever this thing is I'm talking to you on, but I'm not creating.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Okay, so now can you read the commentary?
So now I'm reading the I'm now reading the comments.
Okay, good.
Hello, Mighty Mouse. I don't know if they're moving though. Hello, Don Kim.
They haven't moved in a while, but usually
delay. There's a delay on YouTube,
yeah,
like 20 seconds.
yeah, it's a little.
I see. Okay. Well, that's better than not seeing them at all.
Yes.
That's interesting, though.
He does lectures and pontificates. See, he's pontificates. That's the
Okay,
thing.
yes. All right.
And Isaacson pontificates with
He does. Yeah.
salt in the wound. He turns the knife, pours salt in the wound while he's pontificating.
He does. But you notice that while he's turning the knife, he also has a nice word. He says, you know, Rob, you've probably forgotten more than I've ever known about vacuumatic nibs, but you know, there's always a but you know, this was 1937 and not 1938 because it couldn't have been because it has the wide filler, not the narrow filler, of course.
Yeah, yeah. No, see, that's a kind word as he's twisting the knife. Happy David, he always says when he finds something.
Yes.
You know, the saddest part of his collection is it's nothing, they're not ever used. He probably might know if a nib is flexible or fine.
Well, he definitely knows that.
But he doesn't.
He recognizes that, and he
charges for it.
Well, he does. Yeah, I mean, serious nibbage alert.
Nibbage.
So he's well aware, you know, that he has a. But he's like the guys at pen shows who, you know, all flexible nibs are identical. If it's a flexible nib, it just means it's better now because you've been told that.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So if it's flexible, it's like, hey, it's a flexible nib. Like, okay, that's nice. So what? I mean,
yes. And then you try it out, and it's.
Then you try it out, and it won't write at all because the tines are all splayed, and.
Or it's not flexible at all.
Well, or yes, or I mean, in some cases that's true. With modern pens, I mean, the modern pens that are billed as flexible.
This is not serious nibbage. It's only frivolous.
It's amateur nibbage, is what it is.
Amateur nibbage.
It's what is the word? It's surface nibbage. It's.
Oh, I see what you're trying to say. It's just it's seeing just the exterior aspect,
Yeah.
the simple perfunctory.
Yeah.
Sort of
the idea.
You're not delving you're not even getting your tiny little piggy toe in the water. You're just saying it's flexible. You're not diving in.
Yes.
You're not exploring what kind of snappy flexible it has. You're just saying it's flexible. Okay, go away. Mighty Mouse says modern flex should be called soft. I think that's a good.
Well, that's a thought. But I mean, I really haven't written with enough modern pens to really know much.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's changing all the time.
Dilettante, someone is saying.
Thank you. Yeah, that's more along the lines of what I was thinking. Thank you very much. Yeah. Having said that, I mean, I don't really have the ability or freedom to get into too much complexity when I do my eBay ads. So I can't really throw that stone. I mean, I have a writing sample and I describe it.
You show a writing sample, and that's all people that know what they're doing need to see.
That may be the case. Yeah.
Yeah. When I think modern flex nibs they're about as good as sort of a medium flex Skyline nib
Yeah, like a Skyline. That's my understanding. You
with
know,
a blobby sort of ball nib, because they're
yeah,
never fine enough to do what we like to do.
that's the impression I get. Yeah.
And they're
With
perfectly fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a Skyline nib that's like that if you're going to draw. I love drawing.
right, or you know, or even if you're, you know, if you want to take notes,
Yeah.
if you're,
Right. It's just, and you can even do nice calligraphy with it, but it's just,
yeah,
it's not, they don't have the sharpness and the quickness of return that we like in a flexible nib.
right, or not that we, or that we like, or that we've discovered that there are other frontiers out there.
Yeah.
If you haven't discovered that, then it's still great. I mean, when I
Yeah.
discovered my first flexible Waterman #2 nib in 1988,
Yeah.
I was over the moon. I thought this was the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
But it happened in your apartment, Pierre Gustafson, and but then you know, you get into other complexities,
Yeah.
or other more specific things that you like, and that's also fun, and that's possible so far only with old pens. And unfortunately, the best way to try them out is in person, and we don't have that luxury right now during the pandemic. But yes, there's a lot of fun stuff out there.
Yeah. I'm sending to one of the viewers I have from Michigan, I think. Michigan, yes. Or Ohio. Anyway, she's getting a Skyline with a flexible nib. She does have a 51 special, but all the other pens she has are modern things that are, so I was teaching her how to learn how to press down on the downstroke. I said, find your most flexible pen that you have and make some slinkies, you know.
Mhm.
And it's hard teaching people how to lift up. You know, you start at 12, you push down,
Yeah.
and then you lift up, but you have to start lifting up at about 8 o'clock, you know, when you're going counterclockwise. 12, pressing down, you're pressing down at 9 o'clock, going toward 8. You have to start lifting up now. You can't wait till you get to 6. Isn't going to work. And
I mean, is it like driving a manual transmission car? That's what I think it is. It's like once you get it, you wonder why it took you so long.
yeah, yeah.
I think that's what it's like. But
sometimes when I do certain kinds of lettering where I want, you know, the thick to go all the way to the baseline and then sort of come up, you know, that's different. But when you're doing slinkies like this, you know, you start pressing down at 12 or maybe a little bit before then, even though you're still going up, you can start thinking about pressing down. Then you press down, and then you start lifting up. You don't lift up at 6 o'clock at the baseline. You start making it thinner before then.
right. But have you already lost the battle if you have to be thinking about it that much?
No, you learn how to do it without thinking.
Right.
You have to tell someone to.
But you're talking about this. You have to tell somebody that, and then they learned it at it, and it becomes natural.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's really, really hard. You know, I was watching her try to do it.
Yeah.
And I was I was doing it as well. And when I thought about it and paid attention,
Right.
like then I kept on overshooting and fucking it up. But You know, there's just like, I don't know. It's really hard to describe, but it is like driving a standard car. You learn to, without every thinking, you're in third gear without even knowing how you got there.
Yes, right. And you know where the clutch's engagement point is without thinking about
Yeah,
you're approaching the clutch's engagement point,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I guess it's hard. Yeah. So I guess there was a time when I used a flexible nib for the first time.
And it was like you were driving a standard for the first time and
I
kept,
guess so. I just don't
kept
remember it.
falling, jerking, and airbags flying because of the
Right.
Yeah.
I used to be, you know, an overhanded left-handed person, and so I used to do the equivalent with like a flare pen where I'd press down on the downstrokes
Okay.
and make by doing that would make the closest equivalent of a
Cursive letter until
yeah, yeah.
the end of the second word, you realized you just fucked up the felt tip.
I really I dragged my wrist over the whole line. Yeah.
And you completely screwed up the point of the felt tip. The felt tip.
Right, right. You needed a new one every time. Yeah. Right. But I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I thought that's how it was done because I'd only seen the results, and I didn't realize that I wasn't pulling the pen from the proper direction.
Yeah.
You know? And that's why one reason I feel sorry for overhanded left-handed people, because I had to be told to switch, which I resented bitterly when my 7th grade teacher made me switch. But as a result, I can pull the pen and add pressure and spread the tines on the downstroke.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
you should send her a thank you note if she's still
Yes.
around.
yes, I should.
Oh, Mighty Mouse is left-handed and right completely downward. Meaning what?
Meaning it's in an extreme hook.
You're either a pusher or a hooker.
No, you're not.
That's
I'm
what
neither one.
you're.
I pull. I pull. Pusher or a hooker, yes.
That's what Ben calls them.
Yes. There are, you know, hooked overriding left-handed people who retain that orientation and are very successful. There's one guy who was in the White House calligraphy department
Oh, okay.
who wrote that way. He started, I can't think of his
Before
name.
they ever use Sharpies? Before the
No.
Sharpie?
No, he used steel dip nibs, but he just held them in a particular way. And I think he started in the Carter administration, and his stuff looks great.
Uh-huh.
So it can be done. And you know, you have a handicap even if you're a left-handed underwriter because you don't have the, like with right, you know, you can't use your elbow as a fulcrum to achieve perfect parallel ascenders and descenders like you can as a right-handed person.
Oh.
So you do have.
You just have to learn to write Arabic.
You would think so, but I'm sure that they've made it
Impossible.
right-handed centric in some way.
Some,
I mean, I don't think the solution is just to start writing Hebrew or Arabic.
okay. No, my hand is straight, but I write from north to south. I don't know what that even means. I'm confused, Mighty Mouse, by that. Take a movie and send it to me so I know what you're doing. If you can do that, make a little movie on Instagram.
Peter, you're so technologically advanced.
I am. No,
Amazing.
I know the thing that I don't know, the thing that my brain cannot really remember is their name here and their name there are all a little bit different, you know, like Chinese. So you write vertically. You hold the paper vertically. And you write down, I guess. So the line is this way. So she writes like down.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So,
that's what I do.
well, not vertically,
Almost.
but at an angle. Can you turn your camera? I guess you can't because you're on your.
I don't have a pin cam.
Oh, you don't have the pen cam.
Uh, I've been buying a lot of weird paper lately.
Yeah.
I found these things on Amazon. This nice little notebook that's
Yeah.
actually a rigid board and
Okay.
has an actual pocket,
Okay.
and it has very heavyweight graph paper inside with very light lines.
Very good.
So I'm in love with this so far. It's A5 size, so it's kind of small-ish.
Yeah.
It's not like a full-size
Notebook.
notebook page.
That'll bring you back to algebra, 8th grade
Yeah.
algebra classes.
So I mean, I do this. It's the one way you can't use a fountain pen, but let's see. So I do this, pull, and so it's somewhat comfortable for me to do it at this sort of angle. So I'm
see.
sort of writing down.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't do it at this extreme. It's usually about like this.
Yeah. Okay.
But I thought maybe she was saying she did something like
Okay.
this, but I don't know.
No, she
But
doesn't.
you know, you want to be able to pull.
She does it like you're doing there. Yeah.
Oh, then you're good.
And you're,
Congratulations.
yes. Mighty Mouse also does drawings of, they're sort of like horror vacui drawings. They're almost completely ink. They're very dark and full of little tiny details. Usually somewhere inside of this is her neighbor's cat. I'll send you a link
Ah, okay.
for her. Oh, she made a video. So look.
Oh, yes. You're doing it exactly like I do, I think, more or less.
Except you're more at a right angle. I mean, you're at a 45-degree angle ish.
I guess so. But it looks like she can pull on the downstrokes, which is the most important thing with the fountain pen.
Okay.
So that is good, good, good.
So I'm going to send you. I'll send you a link to her thing. Now, did I send you one from Effextinol?
I don't think so.
Effects Technol. He's his name here is Afex Data, and he really loves Schaefer pens. So I will. He recently bought. Oops. Oh shit. He recently bought, I just sent you a picture of it. It was a burgundy red Touchdown, but it's the rarest size. It sort of is a little bit fatter than a standard Touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
And has the big honking nib in it.
Yes.
So what is that called? What is that size?
I don't know if it has a name. They may have used the same model names that they used in you know, when the snorkel and the TMs like Valiant and Crest and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, so it was, in other words, it was a touchdown.
Yeah, it's just
It
slightly
was a
fat.
touchdown before the TM,
Yeah,
before the thin model.
yeah. But
Yeah.
there's three sizes. There are three sizes of that. There's the thin model, and then there's these two that are almost identical, except some are a little bit bigger. Because if you try to switch the caps, one cap doesn't even go anywhere near being on.
Okay.
And I only have,
So you're saying that these pens were contemporaries with the TM?
I think so.
I thought they were later. I thought they created the TM as the successor to
Well,
whatever this
yeah,
is.
I think of all of those pens as being about the same. So I'm
Okay.
about that. The TM, the fatter touchdown, not the fattest, but the fatter than the TM, that has the standard, blue and burgundy and black with the Triumph nib or the regular nib and the gold fill cap or the chrome cap. They're the standard TM. I mean, the standard touchdown.
Trying to.
Think of a tuckaway pen. Those little tiny Schaefer tuckaway pens.
I don't think there are any. I don't think I know any that don't know any of these that have Triumph touchdowns that are fatter than the TM but have a Triumph nib. I don't think I've seen any of those. I think they all have conventional open nibs.
The ones on the larger size that we're talking about here is larger than the standard touchdown. If you think of, I think the tuckaway pen, tuckaway clip, is that what it was called? That little tiny clip.
Little tiny clip. That's
Yeah.
what I always called it, but that's what I always call it. That's what you have always called it.
I think
But I
it's
don't
called.
know that that's what they called it.
But that is they didn't make a thinner size of that, but that's the standard size of a touchdown. That
Mhm.
isn't the thin model is that size.
Mm-hmm.
But the red pen that I just sent you
Mm-hmm.
is fatter by just a little tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I
What
just,
I'm saying is I don't think any of these are Triumph nibs. I think they're all conventional open nibs.
okay.
Is that right?
I think they are. Yeah. I think they are all conventional. But they're not as big as the biggest lever filling Triumph nib pen. Those are sweet.
Okay.
1,000, whatever they are.
Well, they're. I don't think any. Well, no. 1250 would be the lowest number big one.
Yeah.
I think, right? Plastic cap, plastic barrel would be 1250.
Yeah.
The ones that were contemporaneous with the piston fillers,
Yeah.
but
then-
were lever fillers. Yeah.
But there was a 2000. I think that was the
Yeah,
one.
but that was a
Gold fill, a solid gold band or something.
it was it was solid gold trim or something. Yeah, and it only came in the medium size. Didn't come in the large size.
Okay.
So
Okay.
with all plastic, the large size was a 1250.
Okay.
The
I love those pens. I really like those Triumph nib pens.
Crest was the 1750, and the silver metal with the gold filled trim was
No, oh,
1500.
no. I'm having dinner.
You're being served dinner. Is that Todd?
That is Todd.
Hello, Todd.
Hello.
Come and
How are
say
you?
This is Rob Morrison.
Hey, Rob. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Here he is.
I like to check in with you. I like to check in with you once every 15 years or so, just to say hi.
Just
Well-
to say,
Just to say hi, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh, how are things out? You're out in California?
no.
I'm in Kansas.
What the hell are you doing in
What
Kansas?
the hell am I doing in Kansas? I know. I ask myself that question all the time. It's where I'm from, and I have been in the habit of my parents lived here. My dad is still living. He's in a nursing home,
Yeah.
and we sold their big house that I grew up in 2016. My mom died in 2019. We have a little apartment in town where we brought about 1/10 of the contents of the big house, and we still had the largest estate sale that anybody in this area had ever seen.
Oh my God. Oh, well, we're going through that right now, kind of.
I understand. Yes,
Our peers is informing you.
yes.
Ugh.
He loves this desk.
Oh, you like my little desk, huh?
I think it's the perfect. It's like it was designed for a pen collector. It's like somebody 100 years ago said, you know, somebody would like to have a bunch of little shallow drawers, right?
Exactly.
Right at working level, like watchmaker or pen collector.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does look nice.
Yeah, it was something that I just needed to have,
Where did you find it?
Oh, a teacher at school.
Oh.
Her daughter had it.
Oh, okay.
So
Did
Yeah.
you deliver the note to Holly?
yeah, she's off campus, but I
okay.
made a little video of
Oh,
it and
okay.
I put it on her desk.
Okay.
So Kansas, you're like right next door, to us.
Practically. I know. It's in America, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump. It's like
It's like hills and through the woods.
yes, it's like my friends in Britain, they talk about going from one end of Wales to the other, like it would be something you do once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's like 200 miles.
Yeah, it's
Like
You
going
go
to
to lunch.
Massachusetts.
yeah.
Yes,
It's like going to Wisconsin here, it's like
yes.
takes about 45 minutes, but yeah, I hear you.
Maybe if you have the ability, it would be fun to have you drive up here during the summer if you're there.
Might be. That might be possible. Yeah. I normally live in Asheville, North Carolina, but I've gotten into the habit of coming here almost once a month to
Deal with parents.
help my parents out. And so I was here when the pandemic started, and I have, everything I need is here. So I have just stayed, and so I haven't been back yet. And so far I've managed to take care of most of the little things that come up. I mean, I do have 2 cars that I will need to re-register. Okay, that's true. But these little things come up, and there's my next door neighbor's watching my house, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
And he's putting out the biggest estate sale that they've ever had on that street too.
Could be. Could be. Fortunately, my house is limited by its actual size. So even if every square inch of it looks like this, which it does, it still doesn't have that actual volume.
Pierre knows how to do that pretty well.
Yeah, that's what someone
Yeah.
that Rob took my class in desk organization.
Yeah.
Funny.
I didn't know I was going to be on TV tonight, Pierre.
Well, you're on TV. So
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Wow. Well, it was nice seeing you.
Nice to see you, Todd.
And
mark your calendar for 2032 or whatever 15 years
That's
from
right. That's right. I'll be calling you again then.
yeah. Well, yes, but maybe this summer, maybe take a road trip or whatever. We have a lot of room here. We have probably more room than we have rooms to sleep in, but it's a very odd house. So my parents never thought they were going to have children, but here we are.
Is that the case? Is that it? They didn't think they'd ever have children, so they filled it up with
No, not really.
they
Yeah.
made a single. They just didn't think that the kids would ever grow up and need something other than a crib.
a crib. Yes.
Heiko, leave it.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, are you done
I'm
already?
done already.
Okay. Well,
Peter's a fast eater.
well,
I'm going to get a beer. I'm going to get another beer.
he swallows it and then he eats it.
And then I eat it. My stomach does the work. Why do I need teeth?
Right back.
Yay.
Pierre, you always have something interesting and unexpected whenever I talk to you.
Like what?
Like your new your Parker 45 collection. I mean, that's about the last thing in the world
I
that I would have expected you to be telling me that you just bought.
bought it on eBay, a lot of 7 or 8 pens. There were, I don't remember what good pen was in there, or if they all were just good for resale. You know, I was thinking, oh, did you hear that Apple Boom Pens bought Bromfield?
Oh no. Really?
No.
Is Apple Boom that Dutch place? Is it American?
It's or where they're from, Dutch, I guess. Apple Boom.
Wow. So Fred sold out. Was Fred the owner?
Yeah.
Wow.
He he sold it, and
So is Greg still? Greg is like the George Salustro of Bromfield.
he's still there, and Dutch.
Go. I'm throwing my beer can. Oh! Scored.
Okay, good. I want you to turn your camera around so we can see the empty wastebasket with the 20 cans around it.
It is more like that than I like to admit.
Okay.
I've got a little bit of a backboard, so and most of them are hidden by the television.
So they bounce back under your desk. Okay. No, so he sold it, and I don't know if who knows what they're going to do, but whether they're going to completely
change
get
it.
rid of old pens and just have it be modern stuff, or I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
We will see.
Are they the company that makes those fancy ink bottles, or am I thinking of something else?
I think they do. I think they do sell ink bottles. If you look under Apple Boom pens on YouTube, you'll see their 1 minute long blurb about them moving to Bromfield Street. They don't say they're buying Bromfield Pen. They just
Oh wow. Okay.
said they're opening up their first American store. And he does one thing that's kind of interesting. Juiced Apple Boom. He does 3 favorite pens by various people, where they'll take their top 3 pens, whatever they are, and talk about why they like them. And it's kind of interesting why people choose the 3 that they choose.
Oh, son of a gun! I'm looking at their website, and there was a picture. It just says Apple Boom, Boston.
Yeah,
And
if you type in Bromfield Pen, it goes right to them. So Bromfield.
wow. I was trying to see if do they sell. They don't really sell any vintage pens, do they?
Well, I don't know whether they do, and they don't need to, I guess.
No, I mean it doesn't make. It never makes economic sense.
It does suggest that, though, the pen you're buying right now that was made yesterday might be around in 60 years or 100 years, like these that we have over here that are still working.
Oh, right, true, yeah.
But
Sure.
then again, pens that were made 60 years ago are so much better than the ones that are made yesterday.
Well,
So-
I don't know whether places like Apple Boom, I don't know whether they, in their original store in Amsterdam, do they have a little vintage pen department that they don't publicize or put on the web because it's too much trouble to sell individual pens on the web because you have to photograph each one individually. So maybe they have, for that reason, the very same reason that you described, maybe they have a few vintage pens for sale, and maybe they'll still have Greg selling and repairing vintage pens while their volume.
Bromfield Pen does have a huge, I guess I'd call it, clientele that go there
Yeah.
from them. So, and they have generally interested and knowledgeable people who are selling the pens. Fred is always in the back doing the bookwork. He doesn't really,
Yeah.
he's ever been passionate about pens at all. But the people
Right.
that work there, Greg, I don't really think is all that passionate either, but at least he understands.
He sure knows a lot because
Yeah.
so many thousands of pens have passed through his hands.
So,
I mean,
Mighty Mouse is saying yes. 1 or 2 videos have been about vintage pens. I watched Juiced Apple Boom with his white gloved hands show the new Parker 51.
oh God, no, not that.
And with the little screw thing that for added protection. And I just was screaming at the at the YouTube. No.
You take any, I don't know, $70 1950s Waterman or Parker 51, and it's better and more interesting than this new pen, which is made like a 45. It doesn't have a collector with all the little fins.
It doesn't? Okay.
No, it doesn't. And I mean, it's, I know that there are economical limitations to this.
Yeah.
And I know that you can't produce a pen that is that is built to such small tolerances as a Parker 51 today.
Yeah.
But this thing still costs, I don't know, $100, $200, something like that.
Or a steel nib and $200 for the gold one.
And they have to have, and it has a threaded cap, so you don't have that nice
No, you don't have that nice. You have
clutch mechanism.
but he says with his white gloves, he says it adds that extra bit of security. And
It has a security where it can come unscrewed in your pocket and ruin your shirt.
yes, because it doesn't have enough screws. It's like those Schaefer pens that have the metal threads that don't really screw enough.
They're never quite secure enough.
Yeah,
Were they like a snorkel?
like
I mean, like a snorkel, like this,
a snorkel.
with the metal threads.
Yeah, but see,
Or the one, or the Triumph pen from
Yeah.
like 1942 that
stepped up
has
thing.
that tiny little where it's half the time the bottom of the cap has to go farther than its designated place to screw on all the way. Is that the one you're talking about?
one. But anyway, so I was thinking, how can I describe how stupid adding threads to?
Pierre, you haven't mentioned the worst part.
Oh,
The metal band that they add.
converter thing?
No, the metal. Well, okay, that may be the worst part. The second worst part is the metal band that they add
Oh, yeah.
to the hood. The hood, before you get to the threads, there's a metal band.
Oh God.
Um,
Bad. It's bad. Anyway, I was thinking the added security. Now you take the perfect invention or the perfect pen and you ruin it, and you pretend that it's better because of this added security. It's like taking a wheel. Let's say I invented a wheel, but every once in a while it rolls down the hill. So I'm going to make the wheel kind of flat on one side. So it's not going to work as a wheel anymore because it has this flat part. But that's what that threading is like. It's just adding something stupid.
I wonder why they did that.
Because they probably don't know how to make the clutch.
The clutch mechanism, but obviously they know how to make it. Is it because it's too expensive to make? I wouldn't think it would be too expensive to make.
Well,
you have to have this little, cage thing, this little tiny cage thing that you stick into the inside of the cap. I mean, they made it for the limited edition in 1995 or whenever that was.
Yeah.
Didn't it have?
They had to do something. Now they could have something they could have done. They could have, they made the Aero clip modern or whatever they did.
Oh, and the clip, Pierre, the clip.
It looks like a bloated.
The clip looks like a 21 clip.
Yeah, a bloated.
Right. I mean, it's like instead of being a clip with Aero feathers, it's a clip with like little lines that they've scratched into it.
Stamped into it. Yes.
It's like a. I mean, is it a 45? It's like a 45 clip, right?
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, 45. I have one right here, Rob.
I know. Let me see it. Yeah, it's like a 45 clip. It's like they took the clip from the cheapest pen they made in the 60s and they put it on this pen that they're charging $200 for today.
Yes.
And apparently the inner workings are just like a 45 also.
Okay, and then they have a cartridge for convenience, for the writer's convenience.
Oh. I mean, even the aerometric fill is just a little bit too much of a stretch for me, as you know.
It's been so long since I've fixed a Vacuumatic or a vacuum filler, Vacuumatic 51, that I'm using almost half the 51s I use are aerometric.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to have to fuss with trying to fix them.
Yeah.
And are you having problems with sacks lately? Your pen sacks?
Well, I probably am the last person in the world who heard about this.
Okay.
But apparently some time ago, the pen sack company Saks got about 2.5 times as expensive as they used to be.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of them that are just bad.
Are they?
Some pens I fixed, a year ago. I thought, why is this not holding ink? And I opened it up, and there, like the back of the pen was just dissolving, rubbery, sticky.
Yeah.
And other people are saying that happens too.
Oh shit.
So either the pen sack company got a bad. Do a search, ask around the pen community. Maybe it wasn't the pen sack company. It might have been some other company. But
Well, that happened, whenever it was, with a guy in Canada who was making sacks, and they were all dissolving,
yeah,
and they were cheaper than the pen sack company sacks. So a lot of people, including me, were buying them. So I'm sorry to hear that's happening, because they were always, Peter, what's his name?
Amos.
Peter Amos. It was always the gold standard, and so I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Well, look on the dark web and see what other people are saying about it. But I've heard it from many people.
Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad. I broke down and I ordered a bunch that have not yet arrived. So.
Well, hopefully they're okay, and whether they weren't cured enough or however they're made. But a pen that I sold to Effects Technol wasn't working, and he took it out and it was all crumbly like that. Not crumbly, it's gummy.
Gummy, yeah.
So
that's the way the Canadian sacks were.
Okay.
When they went bad, when there was I don't know if it was just a batch or it was all of them were like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Peter Amos is having the same problem. Or maybe they react to a certain kind of ink that way.
No.
But yeah, and the one bad thing about it was that, in addition to the fact that the pen didn't work, was that it was really hard to get the gunk out of the barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, really hard.
Yeah, it does stick.
It sticks to everything.
It's tarry almost.
I mean, I when I had to take a few of those out of the barrels of pens, that's when I said, I didn't sign up for this. Pen repair, the little bit of pen repair I was going to do wasn't supposed to be this hard.
Yes.
But okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So Como. Well, look at Juiced Appleboom's 3 top pens thing. They're interesting. Some people are writers and some are collectors.
That sounds really interesting.
And most of the time it's the people themselves producing this. That's not an interview. They just do it themselves. And
okay, yeah.
They probably have a time limit of 10 minutes or something that they have to fill. But it's kind of neat. There's a couple of other people that I'm watching on YouTube videos that I'd like to get on here where I'm able to talk to live. And one is this woman named Alicia Adventure Denali. You know her?
I don't think so.
She lives in the Southwest somewhere. She plays the ukulele and the violin, and she collects typewriters, and she loves pens and journaling mainly, and drawing a little bit. And she was showing a Swan pen that she had, and she described her relationship with the pen. We're just not getting there's something wrong with our relationship. We have to make it, figure out how to work better together. And I really loved the way she referred to it as being a partner in how it's being used, or how she's using it. She doesn't have to have it. It's a team effort thing. And I really like that. And then there's another guy, Olive Boy Pens, Olivier. Do you know him?
No.
He's a guy a graphic designer from California, young kid, maybe out of college now or just, and he did a spiel about the Tuckaway pen, the Schaefer Tuckaway pen, and he has a collection of modern pens and old ones. He works for Lamy on the weekend, and so he's kind of fun. And there's a lot of people that I'm learning about that are really quite interesting, and they don't do a standard review in the SBRE Brown idea. They're a little more. It might be more an opinion, but it's just not facts. There's a little bit more emotion involved or creativity involved, which I like. So.
Well, one thing that's been very disappointing for me is that, I may have said that the worst part about quitting being a lawyer to take up buying and selling fountain pens is that I had no excuse to use a fountain pen anymore.
Oh.
Because I used to take notes with a Moore L96 or a Parker Vacuumatic Maxima, and now I have no reason to take any notes. I have no clients coming to my office to tell me their story, and
well, you have to make up stories.
Well, you have to make up reasons to use pens, and one of the things I used to use pens on was I was basically my parents' bookkeeper in addition to my own bookkeeper, and so I wrote a lot of checks.
Yeah.
My parents were not internet savvy, and they had read stories about people, losing money by being online.
Yeah.
They were very wary of it. But now all of the paper that they make paper checks out of is crappy paper. There was a long time where it was the last holdout, where if you ordered checks,
you would be assured that they would be great paper.
You could be assured that the checks that you would get would work well with fountain pens. But that, as of about, last time I ordered checks from my parents' bank account, that's not true anymore. It's the same like toilet paper, paper towel like stuff that it's basically like 20-pound weight Xerox paper now that they make checks out of. So now I can't I can't use my favorite fountain pens to write checks with anymore.
Well, what you have to do is go to the antique bookstore in town and ask for an old ledger and just start drawing on those.
Well, there are lots of places you can find great paper. I just don't have and that's part of why I'm having fun
buying those things.
Buying these different kinds of pads.
Yeah.
I needed plain paper, so I bought some cheap pads on Amazon that I haven't tried out yet, but now I usually do I use these Rhodia pads, and I love the long ones because for the same reason that reporter notebooks work well for people, it's nice to, well, for one thing, because this is the way I keep my desk organized. There's no space.
Yes.
So I can always find a nice little thin space for these. But they also, Rhodia also makes these like things, these wallets for this particular pad,
Yeah.
and you can use these pads, and you can get a little bit of you can have a little bit of purchase
Yes. Okay.
on your hand can lean on the pad and you can still write. So this happens to be a nice size. So I like those, but they don't come in plain, and sometimes it's nice to have plain without any lines.
Yes.
And so I bought this recently, and I bought just these things that are cheap on Amazon that have what appears to be very high quality heavy paper.
Okay.
So I haven't tried it yet, so we'll
Well,
see.
You find some that are really good and smooth and don't bleed or whatever. Let me know what they are. Not that I need to buy another piece of paper.
Well, as I told you, part of the pleasure of going to France twice a year was that you go into any supermarket and you can find this great paper, really cheap, that's perfect for fountain pens.
Yeah.
But we can't travel at the moment, so
No.
So I've been looking for it online.
Well,
But-
I traveled here 2 weeks ago, and getting on the plane was, for the first time in ever, was actually organized. They still let the first class people on first because they can get their drinks, but then it was done by the back of the plane toward the front, row by row. It wasn't, a third of the plane rushing on at the same time and jumping over people, and
Row by row.
it
Wow.
was 2 rows at a time,
Wow. Okay. So this is
6 feet apart, and you can't be 6 feet apart when you're crammed in an airplane.
when you're crammed in an airplane, or when you're stampeding onto an airplane
Yeah, or
because your zone has been called, right?
on the jetway and everything. And I had to change my return flight, and I was talking to the nice lady on the phone, and I said, you need to talk to people and have them do this all the time, because it's faster to get on the plane and it's faster to get off the plane. When you land, everyone stands up, and only one person can sort of stand up. Everyone else is sort of like this, trying to
Right.
reach around to their baggage, and it just be civil for a few minutes more.
As Fran Lebowitz says, pretend it's a city.
Well,
So this was from Logan to
Logan,
Minneapolis.
it would really be fun to have you come up sometime during the summer if you'd like, though. How far is it, do you think, from you to here?
That is a good question, Pierre Gustafson.
We'll find that out. I've got
I do not know.
Minneapolis to
Hutchinson, Kansas is where I am.
Hutchinson, KS. It's only 9 hours and 47 minutes, 653.3 miles.
That's it's nothing to me.
Do you know Wasky Squirrel in his pen things? He's
No.
another pen reviewer. He's from the East Coast originally and is a high school science teacher in North Dakota. And he loves pens. He does a weekly pen thing on YouTube, and he's really interested in vintage pens now, he sort of liked all sorts of things, but he's more into vintage, and he likes the pens that were made behind the Iron Curtain. Now, for some reason,
Yes.
so a lot of Czechoslovakian pens and Polish pens and things like that. But I like him because he's sort of the opposite of SBRE Brown, and he's just very humble. Lives in a tiny house in quiet North Dakota, a little tiny town, and he
Mhm.
takes these little car trips, and he takes his video camera with him, and he points out the main street. And it's just very, very fun. And I wanted him to come out here last summer before COVID hit. We had planned on doing it because it's not all that far for him.
Mhm. Right.
It would be fun. And oh, Marilyn, hi. Would you like to come? We'll invite Marilyn Darling on if you'd like to show up, Marilyn. Marilyn lives in California and is a sort of I sold her a Boingy Boingy pen, a very flexible Waterman #2 nib to go in her
Uh,
Waterman POC or whatever, eyedrop, screw cap eyedrop.
right. Oh, very
And
sophisticated.
it was a very springy nib that she liked. And there's Miss Marilyn. I'm going to go pee while Miss Marilyn.
Well, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
I always,
How are you guys doing? I am in the kitchen. I'm about to make spaghetti. So if you hear screaming, it's probably just me on fire. Don't notice.
Miss Darling,
Rob Morrison. Are you the Rob Morrison from the band?
from what? From where?
No, I'm live right now with a friend. There's a band
Oh,
with a Rob Morrison in it, and I'm not sure where that name rings a bell.
well, Rob sells a lot of very nice pens on eBay, and
Oh,
I've known Rob for 35 years.
oh,
And
how exciting!
so, and he has. There was at one point when he borrowed a Waterman 13 from me, and
Damn it.
it is now
I keep hoping you're going to forget about that Waterman 13, Pierre.
13, and it's
Damn it.
and it has a nib that's very much like the nib that you have of mine,
Oh, the Boinga Boinga!
the Boinga Boinga one. Yeah,
Oh my goodness,
you
that pen!
might be thinking of Jim Morrison, not Rob Morrison.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. I was going to ask you if you were related.
You were dead yet.
Yes. No, I'm not buried in Père Lachaise Cemetery.
No.
Paris. I don't think I am related, but I get called Jim a lot for very understandable.
John, would you like to join us? John is a pen user, and he bought a pen from me I think it was a wall or something, skyline, that he bought to draw the artist living in Canada. Would you like to join us, John?
I just got up of a pen hangout with Larry's group. He does these interviews with these people that cost hundreds of dollars for fountain pens. And every time I shake my head and I think to myself, here, Gustafson, you need your own store because people need to know about more of you because
Yes.
oh man. If I would have known the things that I know now, I wouldn't have spent $200 or $400 on a fountain pen. You know.
Okay. Click on that link and put some pants on if you don't have any. Will Hodges from Texas.
Well, here, I'm going to go get another beer if that's all right with you.
You get another beer and we'll.
I'm already out.
Okay. Good.
Be right back.
Okay. Did you get a haircut there, Marilyn? Ms. Marilyn?
What there?
Did you get a haircut?
I did. I gave myself a haircut.
Well, I can.
What do you think?
Well, it's
Sleek.
it's bleak. Did you say or sleek?
Sleek. It's a little of both. Okay, I have to put you down for a second because I need both my hands. Okay. What did you have for dinner, Mr. Gustafson? No, I'm not speaking to you. I'll let you know when I'm speaking to you.
Okay.
What did you have for dinner, Pierre Gustafson?
Yeah.
What did you have for dinner?
Todd gave me some potatoes and roast beef and horseradish.
Oh, yeah.
Hot.
Oh, that sounds yummy.
Yeah.
I need it.
Here comes John.
Oh, boy. This is the one. What did you do to this poor
John,
stove?
you can't. I see that you're there, but I usually says add to stream, and it's not letting me do that, and I don't know why. Are you leave and come back, John, if you can?
I am making spaghetti.
Oh. With beef.
With beef.
Okay.
With meat and meat sauce.
So John, if you're still there, I don't know why I can't add you.
I don't know either.
It's not giving me the option to have you join, and it might be that technology isn't working for some reason.
Oh dear.
Oh, my browser isn't allowed to use my devices for some reason. Okay, gotcha. Okay, sorry, John.
What's going on?
John Matthias cannot join us because his device isn't his browser isn't allowing it.
Oh, that's sad.
So
Tell him to download Chrome. Chrome is more cooperative.
well, he used it before, so
Oh. Well, tell him to update his browser. Sometimes you have to update your browser.
okay.
What are your feelings on the Bucatini shortage, Marilyn? Did you suffer for the?
I don't know what that means.
Well, this was a crisis that was occurring simultaneously with the pandemic. There's a special kind of pasta. There's a shape of pasta that looks like spaghetti, but it's hollow.
Okay.
And it's still.
Bucatini. Okay, I thought you were talking about a fountain pen. I was like,
Of
Yeah, I
course.
know.
So of course you know all about the Bucatini shortage.
no, I didn't know about the shortage.
You didn't know.
I mean,
Well,
it's just the spaghetti.
I read a newspaper article about it, and I
Or
thought,
macaroni.
if this stuff is disappearing, I better try some. So I found some that I paid a.
Do you like it?
Some.
So I found some and paid black market prices for it because it was disappearing because nobody else could
Oh
get
my
it. And it turns out it's actually quite nice, I must say.
Oh,
I prefer. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
is it the big one with the hole in the middle? No, that's
No,
that's
it's very
real
thin.
skinny.
It looks exactly like spaghetti, but it has a hole, but it's hollow.
but it's
Right.
it's harder to hold
I've
on
heard of rogatini, but I've never heard of.
that I don't like about it. I also don't like the taste of it. I guess I prefer regular spaghetti.
Yeah, me too.
Crazy me.
Or macaroni and cheese.
The macaroni and cheese. Well, there's nothing better than that.
So I will see if I can find another domestic malt beverage that doesn't have any alcohol in it. Like, why do I bother? I did yesterday. I took the tiniest of a sip of a screwdriver my brother had, and it was really, it was like maybe a teaspoon of cocktail, and it's kind of nice to have that warm feeling in my little.
Yeah, every once in a great while when you're in a cold place.
Yeah. Rob, are you moving, or did you freeze up? Looks like he's frozen.
Bye, have a good night. My roommate was cooking next to me. I told
Rob,
him, I said, oh no. We broke him.
we
Just
broke
kidding.
him. Well, he'll come back.
I have that effect on people. I apologize.
He'll come back, I presume.
What is the light? No light. Stupid light.
So, did you see the drawings I did at the museum? I know I did.
I saw a couple of them,
Yeah.
but one looked like an old-fashioned light from like the hundreds, you know,
Yeah.
and another looked like a corridor, but I couldn't really tell what
It was
they
wrong.
were.
Let me send you. Maybe I
And
can-
again, I only got to look at two of them because I was busy. I went to the doctor today,
Oh, yeah.
and she told me that I have to lose weight, and so I'm gonna have spaghetti, and then I'm gonna start on a diet. So
But only after you have your spaghetti.
last hurrah, as it were. I mean, it's not like I eat unhealthily, you know. I have a salad every day for lunch, and I have chicken and veg for dinner. So, I mean, it's not like, ooh, what is that? Looks like a candle.
Well, are you looking
What
at
is that?
Are you looking at the black one or the other one?
Yeah,
There's two I sent.
I saw there was a gold-looking one, and then a.
The black part is leather. It's the carrying case for the other, and it's an inkwell.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I was in the Vanderbilt House in Asheville
That's
Yeah.
everybody.
when Kelly was writing a story about it, and we
Yeah.
were being shown around by one of the staff, and that we were in this beautiful room, in the house that was built in 1895, and there was a desk in the room, and it had like a crappy 1930s desk set on it, like a no name, like a plastic desk pen in a plastic socket. And it, you know, it was one of those desk pens that had like, it was all expanded around the lever. You know, it was all distorted around the lever, and it had an alloy nib, and it had no name on it anywhere. And it was kind of embarrassing. And so I said to the guy, I said, you know, pardon me for being presumptuous, and I don't know what you're going for here, but the idea that the Vanderbilt
Wrong.
I know the idea that this thing is like a cheap desk set from the 1930s. Vanderbilt in 1895 that built this Biltmore house that was based on the castles of the Loire would not have had anything like this. I don't know if you know. And he actually asked me. He was interested. Or at least he pretended to be interested. But when I see that thing from the museum that you're showing us, it reminds me of that, because I've often thought, well, you know, what would be the proper thing to go on this desk in this bedroom in Biltmore House that George Vanderbilt built in Asheville, North Carolina, surrounded by thousands of acres of forest, you know, with its own village, right, that he also built
And it's
in 1895.
the village had its own idiot.
Yes, it had a town crier. It had a priest. It had a charcuterie. It had everything and a village idiot and a set of stocks in the village place and everything. But it actually had an Episcopal church in the village. That was the village church.
Oh dear.
And you can go to the Biltmore Episcopal Church still to this day.
Okay.
And but yeah, I've often
he would have probably a big silver. I don't think it would have looked like that thing, but it would have been a big silver slab.
And it wouldn't necessarily have been like a Tiffany desk set that you see in auctions today, because the Tiffany desk sets were a bit avant-garde in 1900 or 1910 or whenever they were being made. It would probably be an elaborate silver thing, as you say, maybe silver or, you know, marble and silver. It'd be, you know, potentially a real architectural thing. An inkstand was a focus of the desk. And so it might have like some of the articles that we see might have a rocker blotter and what it wouldn't have had
was that shitty plastic.
Well, and it also wouldn't have had anything like this.
No.
Right. Because this was, you know, the product of the rubber sack era, which came later, because it was, you know, this carries its own ink supply.
Probably would have had a bronze or silver based thing that would hold a glass cube with, you know, some sort of fancy hinged top. And then it could have, maybe it would have a double one with red and black ink. And then it would have had that, I keep thinking they look like toast racks or napkin racks, you know, with the four, you know, little bent or cast iron things that you put your desk pens on horizontally.
Right, a pen rack, yes, maybe something like that, yeah. But this wasn't a business. It wasn't like the office of a business. It was a guest room in a fancy house. So everything would have been geared to it being for social writing. So there probably would have been room for maybe one or two pens, and they might have, you know, elaborate dip pens with gold nibs, right? That would have been in this rack, and then or maybe just on a tray that was part of an elaborate ink stand, right? That might have two elaborate bottles, you know, with fancy lids.
Or just, if it was a guest room, it would just have one bottle.
Right.
Dearest Mummy.
What
were the Vanderbilt kids' names?
What were their names? I don't know.
I mean, is that who built? No. Who built Vanderbilts, right?
Right. So the person who built Biltmore was called George Washington Vanderbilt.
Okay. And Cornelius then built the breakers.
I don't know. Sorry.
You don't know. You don't know
You
that.
exhausted my Vanderbilt knowledge here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Cornelius, I think, did the
Cornelius.
one on the breakers there. You
I'm
know.
sure that's true. But now was he George Washington Vanderbilt's father? I don't even know.
Cornelius, well, we'll find that out for you right this very second.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Cornelius,
He was the
1794.
Commodore.
Children. William Henry Vanderbilt was Cornelius was William Henry Vanderbilt's father. So he built Biltmore, right?
No, George Washington Vanderbilt built Biltmore.
Cornelius Vanderbilt, George Washington. Children, his children were George Washington Vanderbilt the second. That doesn't help me. I'm going to just look under the breakers. The breakers, Palm Beach. I don't want that one. I want this one. Wikipedia, Newport. Vanderbilt Mansion. The summer home of Cornelius Vanderbilt II. And it was built in 1895. So your thing was built in 1880? Did you say?
No, it's not, no, the house was built in 1895.
The house too? Your house?
No, not my house.
Okay. No, the house, the Biltmore was built in 1895.
Yes,
Okay, that's when he built this thing.
that is Biltmore House.
No, the breakers
Oh, really?
in this one.
Oh, okay. In Newport, that was also built in 1895.
By Cornelius II. So Cornelius Vanderbilt II. So maybe his brother built the other one then.
Maybe, yeah.
So maybe your George Washington is George Washington II then.
I don't know.
He was the eldest son of William Henry Billy Vanderbilt.
The spaghetti has been made.
Eldest son of William Henry Billy. Children and George Washington Vanderbilt II, 1862, 1914.
That sounds right.
So yeah, he was known for the Biltmore estate. So the second.
Okay.
George Washington Vanderbilt II.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Yes.
And his children were Cornelia Stuyvesant Vanderbilt. I guess are those three children or is that one child?
I think it's just one.
It says children and it has three lines.
I see that, but it's just one person.
Oh, it is. Cornelius Stuyvesant Vanderbilt Cecil Buckley Johnson Goodsir. That's quite a name.
Yes. Now Cecil is the name of the people who are there now.
Oh.
Just
So,
for your information.
so it's still in the family.
It is, but it's been parts of the entire enterprise have been separated and are owned by different members of the family.
I see.
So the people who own the house, I think, are the Cecils.
How much does the Village Idiot own? Does he own any of it?
The Village Idiot is long gone. He's been replaced by a bunch of jewelry stores and bakeries.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and a Brooks Brothers store.
Oh dear.
It's basically like an outlet mall, except with
Tudor.
yeah, with fake Tudor, with what they call Pebble Dash construction. Um,
In the background on the TV, the movie with Cary Grant and It Takes a Thief or whatever it is.
oh, the one.
With Cary Grant and Princess, what's her name? Kelly.
Grace Kelly. Oh, the one in the south of France where she drives a Sunbeam Tiger.
I think that's what's in the background now. It's I saw a weird movie the other day, and it starred. Well, I saw it a year ago, and it was on Turner Classic Movies or I don't know something, and it starred Angela Lansbury as almost an evil mother, like she was in Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah,
All that evil.
yeah.
Rich woman who was a little bit of a I don't know what she was. She was something criminal in some way or evil in some way.
Okay.
And she
Yeah.
coolest car where the doors slid into the car.
That's a Kaiser Darren.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. No, well, I don't know, but that's the one that comes to mind that did that.
Okay. It was
Was
really
it like a little sports car type thing, or was it?
yeah, a little sports car.
I think that might have been a Kaiser Darren. It was made by an American manufacturer of refrigerators.
Okay. Oh wow. FX would you join us? FX Technol. FX Technol is the guy that loves.
There's two Marylands.
Angela Lansbury is still alive.
Yes, I know.
Is she? Oh my God!
I just asked Alexa. She's alive.
Don't say that word.
She's 95 years old.
Don't say that word that starts with A.
Nope.
What word is that?
Alive.
The word that triggers the Amazon Echo.
I see.
Oh, sorry.
When she says Alexa, sometimes my Alexa in my house goes on.
I'm just waiting for it. She's just ignoring you. I don't know why.
Alexa, what time is it?
It's 8:44 p.m. Enjoy your lunch.
Thanks a lot, Pierre.
You're welcome. FX Technol, would you like to come in? FX Technol.
Yes, come have dinner with me. I'm lonely.
Carolyn, you're making me hungry, and I'm gonna have to go make some supper too.
Rob, here's our cat named Van Gogh for obvious reasons.
Obviously, yes. She looks crazy.
He
looks crazy.
But only one ear.
There's one
Oh,
here.
really? I didn't notice that.
Oh, kitty.
Look.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
FX. Oh, he is. Okay. I don't think you've met Mitch yet, Rob. But he loves Schaefer pens.
Greetings.
Schaefer pens.
Schaefer.
Yeah, I'm a Schaefer pin nutcase. What can I say?
Oh,
And
Is that bad?
no, it's great.
Oh, okay. I'm in the right place then.
I
Rob-
agree with you.
Rob really likes Schaefer pens.
Yes, I do.
You. Oh, and here's Tasha. So, Rob, I think I sent you FX Data is his Instagram account. I sent you a pen that he recently got, which is that wide, the big fat touchdown that has the big.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
And his pen set matches mine, where the red dye or whatever, the red plastic, seeps into the white dot a little bit. You seen that ever?
I don't know if I have. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Comes pink.
It's like faded. It's like blended in with the material. It's really strange.
I wonder, I mean, what I would do is just buff it until it.
No, this is we're part of a select group. I have one just like that. So
That's right. We're buddies now. It's one of these Statesmen that has the huge two-tone nib on it.
It's not a white dot. It's a pink dot.
it's a pink.
It's technically a pink dot pin. You're right.
Yes.
But yeah, the Statesman pin that have these really comically oversized for the size of the pin nibs like this. I love these things.
Yeah.
They do look like they would hit the inner cap when you're screwing it.
It doesn't look like the cap would fit. That's very true.
So one of FX Technol is pens that he has is it's one of those Schaefer. Is it a snorkel or a touchdown that has the not only the price tag but the original cellophane? You can open.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah, it's a snorkel Saratoga. It has the little cellophanes on it, the little tiny tag that came with it that says the nib grade, the little foil display card with the actual prices listed on it for the ensemble.
Ensemble. Yeah.
Yeah.
To cut that.
That's nice.
Actually smell air from Iowa, from Fort Madison, Iowa, from
1952 or wherever. But yeah, it's a snorkel Saratoga set, as I recall. Wait, I mean, people love to throw the term around. NOS, New Old Stock. This pen is mint, and I'm like, nah. If you're gonna use those words, you got to use it on something like this.
That's the gold standard for that.
People describe things that are in good condition, and they call them minty.
Minty. Yeah.
I don't know, that description just kills me because I'm like, it's either mint or it's not.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. So to show Rob the pen you got from me, the set you got from me, Rob, this might have been, I might have sold him a rare thing, but it's a touchdown.
I have not been able to figure out what this thing is.
Is it a TM or just a touchdown? TM, I think.
Where the hell is it? Oh, I've got too many damn pens. The problem. Here we go.
Blasphemy.
Here sold me this. It is a burnt umber brown set.
Right.
It's a touchdown filler. And it's got the gold filled caps on it, which is kind of weird. And it's in the brown color, which they only made for a little while. And they only made the desk pins in this brown color after this. As far as I know.
Well, I think some of the ones are open nibbed lifetime pens. So from the 30s, the brown desk.
Yeah, this is an open nib, lifetime nib.
Yeah,
and it's like a slim lifetime nib. And I've been looking, and the only thing I can find that's the closest to this is like a Sovereign, but those have steel caps with the little wiggly line on them.
Okay.
Yeah. And I literally cannot find what this set is.
Well,
is it a Franken pen?
I don't think so.
You know, you get a pen from me. It's quite possible that Franken
It's an
pen.
enigma wrapped in a mystery.
That's why I
love it.
said
Yeah, it might. I mean, they happen sometimes by accident, and sometimes.
have you seen the things that he does to these fountain pens? He just, oh, this one doesn't fit. Oh, this one doesn't fit. Oh, this one does. Oh, this one fits. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Well, so
Like my main thing.
why is that not a TM crest?
What's that?
Why is that not a TM crest?
I would have thought a crest would have been a Triumph nib, right?
Why?
Well, being a touchdown, that would have been the same period. A crest was like a really pretty high-end pen.
Well, crest just indicates that it had a gold-filled cap.
And that's the thing too. Compare this here.
Maybe that pen.
Yeah, this is a regular touchdown TM, and then this is that pen. It's
Right.
ever so slightly slimmer. It seems like.
Well, do the cap
Well, I don't know.
with each other?
Are the caps interchangeable?
Maybe I'm wrong about that. Indeed, the caps are interchangeable,
Okay.
so they are the same diameter.
Yeah.
I think the nib just makes it seem slimmer than it really is.
I knew it. I knew it. Serpent.
There's those slimming, slender nibs.
Hey, optical illusions in pens, it's hard. You're trying to look for stuff online and you're just going by pictures. It's like
True.
really hard to pick out what, you know, one balance looks like every other Schaefer balance ever made unless you have a ruler laying right next to it.
That is true. And sometimes even that doesn't help too much.
Even that doesn't help because it's like just looking at a pen, it's real hard to tell if it's an oversized, a standard, what is it?
So, Affextinol got recently a pearl and black early first year streamline,
Oh, it's super pretty. It's been one of my favorites here lately.
and he said, "Well, why is it so long?" And he showed me next to the other one, you know, a more modern streamline, and I said, "Well, that's what it does." But
1929.
watch when you take the caps off and post them, because then the other one, you know, the short one becomes longer.
Yeah.
But isn't that sweet? I
Yeah,
love
it's
those.
very nice. It's very nice. Is that the 7 size or the 8 size?
I have no idea. What is that, the nib size, or what are you referring
I
to?
mean, is that the fat one or the slightly?
Oh, okay. This is a standard size one. It's not an oversize.
Very
Oh,
nice.
Okay.
But still, I like the standard ones just as well, as long as they're long enough. 'Cause
Yeah, they're very
I've
nice.
got decent sized hands. I need a reasonably large pen.
Yeah, yes. I agree.
I don't need a full on baton like most of these modern pens, though.
Yes. No, those. I think like they use the 7 to indicate the nib size.
Yeah,
They use the 7 in the model numbers internally and in the catalogs.
because like a flat top is like an 8C or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the early streamlines would have had an 8 size nib, and they would have had a model number with an 8 in it. I think
Right. Okay.
the largest sized ones. In the extra long angular ones like you've got, 1928, 29.
Yeah. What I was starting out by saying, like I started collecting pins, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago or something. And the main driving force behind that is I had a couple old fountain pens when I was a kid going to grade school that I had gotten at a flea market or something. Just because I thought it was something cool, interesting, different than what most people had. And I took them to school and used them all the time. And years later,
You're pouring that drink without telling us your recipe.
Jim Beam peach and peach nectar from concentrate.
That sounds great.
in a big ass martini glass.
It is not big. I have small hands.
That's a normal martini glass, really?
No, No, I have very small hands. I have like 6-inch hands. How big are your hands?
Oh, I don't know. I've never measured my hand.
I have itty bitty hands. That's why I make a good surgeon. Cheers to you, Pierre, for keeping us all together and well. And I hope that you have a safe journey
My
home.
preferred libation for this evening is this fine vintage number.
Oh my God!
What's your non-alcoholic beer, Pierre? Let me see the label.
I got it.
Is it any good?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I got excellent news today.
What?
I get my shot on the 18th.
Oh, good.
So I'm excited.
Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, I got permission from my doctor. So
I'll be ready to see all this insanity end. And
yeah, me too.
Sooner than later would be an improvement.
Well,
It's been
cheers to
definitely a
that.
time to live through.
Yes. Cheers. Oh, I gotta go now.
to get more beer?
I have to get a beer now.
Go get a beer. I'm going to go use the restroom. I'll be right back.
What time is it there?
It's
very late.
9:57.
9:57. Okay, you're 2 hours ahead of me. Okay. Why did I think you were on the East Coast?
Eastern Standard Time.
You are? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Almost 9 o'clock or almost 10 o'clock?
Almost 10.
Oh, that's why. I was like, wait a minute. I am all confused. All I know is that for the next week, I have put all my clocks ahead, so that way I don't forget, and all of my times are different. So I have no idea what time it is.
Yeah, that is true. The time does change soon.
Yeah, the Sunday, whenever that is, the 14th.
All the clocks that I regularly actually use set themselves automatically, so I never even have to worry about it.
Yeah, I have the one here which I always look at because I can see where the hands are, but I can't see the one on my computer because it's this big.
Yeah, it's really itty bitty.
I'm like, ugh. And they don't make widgets anymore that you can put on your desktop, so you can.
They
see a
do,
clock.
but you setting them up is different than it
A
used to be.
nightmare. Yeah.
It used to be just built in, but yeah, now you gotta download stuff, configure stuff. Yeah,
That was the only thing that I really liked from Windows Vista.
Yeah, you had a great big clock, an actual clock.
Yep. And I don't like the digital tick, tick, tick thing. That drives me crazy.
Oh, it was just funny the other day when I was on here. Pierre had sent me that video of you guys being interviewed by what the hell's that guy's name? Bruno. Yeah. And then I just happened to click on YouTube, and then I see Pierre had messaged me 2 hours ago, hey, come talk to me and Rob.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, Pierre is still on?
Well,
I know. I thought he'd have been by bed by now.
I'm going to finish my beer and then I'm going to sign off. But But you had never talked to Rob before, have you? Had you, FXNL?
No, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I just saw that video of you guys talking, and I was like, oh,
No, Rob is a very good person.
Alexa, stop.
Ends.
Sorry.
And he has diverse tastes.
Right.
And we're singing your praises, Rob.
Oh.
And he's also very funny.
Great.
All I know is that since I've been into pins, when I see some really good stuff being sold, it's usually being sold by Rob.
Oh, well, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
But it's not being bought by FX Technology.
My problem is my pockets aren't nearly deep enough for some of the really high-end stuff. I would love to have it, but
that's the thing about all these companies that Larry talks to. I'm like, we're all sitting there. We're like, that must be nice. We're all freaking poor. Have a great day.
Larry,
All you have to do is quit your job and start buying and selling pens full time. That's all you have to do.
That's all you have to do.
That.
Made it
you did.
Off the backboard.
Off the back.
off the backboard, exactly.
Rob, I'm giving people the.
There's a nice Schaefer.
Oh man,
Oh God damn!
look
you.
at that jade.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
You don't see
How
that
is that?
often. That's
Yeah.
like neon green.
How is that? possible?
I got it recently, and I was about to sell it, and I realized it's the best one I've got, so I sold it, another one instead.
That's
Good.
one of the best ones I've seen.
And,
But
and
I keep it because I like oblique nibs, and this has a lifetime oblique nib.
Well, there's another reason not to sell
They're
it.
hard to find.
Yeah.
No, I mean I transferred the oblique nib into this pen when I decided to keep this pen. But yeah, it's I really like Schaefer's, and I especially like Schaefer lifetime balances with flexible nibs when you find them, which is not often, but when you do, they're often really nice.
Yeah,
So,
I haven't come across one yet. I mean, really, what I wanted to mention earlier is like, I was originally into Parkers. I collected some 51s, some 45s, a couple 61s. And then I started looking at Schaefer and I was like, whoa, Schaefer's got way more going on. Cool filling systems, a zillion different models and nib styles and everything. And I kind of fell into collecting snorkels a little bit. I don't have any like really weird rare covers or anything, but I got a whole bunch of snorkels and was having a ball. And then I met Pierre, and Pierre's been kind of, I don't
The
know.
rabbit hole began.
He put the, I don't know.
you're in trouble.
Yeah, he got me interested in the bit of the older stuff. So that's kind of what I've been, getting into balances and some of these materials.
See, I like that one, the black one in the middle, because
Yeah, that's a really cool. This one's a heartbreaker though.
Wow.
I got
I saw
this,
something.
It's
I
an
saw
oversized
something-
balance. It's really nice condition.
and
It's
it's got
an
a crack.
early hump clip.
How many cracks?
0.
Okay, that's good.
It's got the later visualated section or whatever.
Right.
The nib's missing some of its masking, but whatever. Somebody super glued the damn section into the barrel.
Ooh.
Oh no.
I was all proud of myself. I was like, oh, this was such a sweet deal. This thing is so nice. It's awesome. The trim's like perfect. And then I was like, the lever is rotated to the bottom when you write with the pen. The lever's here. The
Yeah.
nib is this way. Instead of having the lever.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Okay,
I
yeah.
was like, oh, I'll just spin it around. No big deal.
Well,
Hey,
You
wait
really-
a minute. This is
you really-
stuck in there. Like stuck.
maybe with the right amount of heat, you can get it out.
It may not
People
be.
have recommended I could soak it for a really long time because that really shouldn't hurt anything. A little bit of heat and just cross the fingers.
Right. But you're right. It is a later section,
It may not be.
and but you may come across 40s. You may come across one of these that needs that section, right?
Yeah.
And but that era of lifetime pen is really nice. They usually had a big nib. They had an opaque section, but the long section, not the short section with the bump, like the original, and a lot of the best, the nicest nibs to write with were of that era, which I guess was maybe, I don't know, 33, right, Pierre?
Like honestly, the early ones that have the weird little section with the little flat piece here.
Yeah.
It's super short.
Yeah.
I was surprised that I actually like writing with this. This doesn't bother me at all. And a lot of people are like, oh, you don't want one of those. They're not fun to, they're not good to write with. You want the later ones.
I saw some guy either today or yesterday was talking about I think it was a Schaefer pen. He called the design a herringbone.
Huh.
It looked like these little tiny grooves. They went like,
Yeah.
V shapes.
Well, yeah, it's usually like a
all-
chevron, a repeating chevron pattern. And
Yeah.
herringbones that I know of are like on a couple Parkers, like the Royal Challenger has got that little herringbone stripe. But beyond that, I
man.
can't think of a Schaefer with a herringbone.
There might be a wasp. There might be a wasp.
Yeah, it could be a wasp because I know very little about those.
I don't know. All I thought he said Schaefer. I could be wrong, but all I know is I saw this thing and I thought that is the one.
You like it, huh?
Yeah, they're beautiful. He had a blue one with a little white herringbone. Oh,
Here's another thing Pierre has done to me.
Maybe that's a modern design, a modern Schaefer pen.
I'm almost sure it was a vintage.
Huh.
When I first started collecting, I was like, I want my pens clean and unblemished. I don't want dead people's names on the sides of my pens.
Uh-huh.
And like now, after being associated with Pierre, he's rubbing off on me or something. To me, I find engravings fascinating now.
Yeah.
Well, Rob showed us a pen earlier tonight that it has a name and a date, and he really
I like it. I like that.
Yeah, that's even cooler. Like this pen that I got, the guy that used to own this pen was a member of the Washington State House of Representatives. So like this could have potentially signed legislation back in the 30s or something, you know? And his name is so weird. There are no other Horace W. Bozarth. So it has to be that guy.
He just wrote some dirty notes to some page.
He could have had a mistress. You never know.
We know Craig
in the gymnasium.
We have a friend. We have a pen collector friend called Craig Bozarth. I guess
yeah, this guy's name is Bozarth. Bozarth. Yeah.
Right. Now I like engravings with dates.
Yeah, dates are really cool too, because then you know for sure, like, when that pen was.
Oh, it's not going to work. Oh, there we go. Can you read that?
Kinda. Gotta blow my window up here. W something, was it Griffin?
Griffith, yeah, 1937. It says it's British. It's a British Parker Duofold, streamlined Duofold Senior.
Yeah.
It says 22nd January 1937, and it's in a charming font, and I just think it's great. I'd rather have this than it be blank.
Yeah. I have a Senior Schaefer Streamline black pen with a name with I think white, paint on the inside, so it just jumps right out at you.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know the name and I don't exactly remember the rest of it, but it's something like John Smith, 152 Western Avenue, Detroit, Michigan, and it has a zip code, the 5-digit zip code. So that was added.
That was like 1962 or something.
They added it in 1962. It's just so weird.
See, that would ruin it for me, Pierre.
But I like the idea that you could put a stamp on it and it would come back to the guy.
I love this. When you have a box set like this and it's got a little thing in it here from the jewelry store.
Right.
And this jewelry store is someplace, Chicago Heights, Illinois. It says their phone number at the bottom. Their phone number is 173.
Oh.
That's the whole phone number.
Yeah.
And that pen is from like 1930 something, 1935 or something. So
yeah, it's a flat ball clip or whatever.
Yeah, thin,
it's
flat
a
ball.
Slender vac filler, lifetime, white dot, and it's super nice because this pen is in exceedingly well preserved condition. It hasn't been micro mesh polished to make it look like this. This is just how it's managed to survive. And it's got it's kind of like a fine to extra fine lifetime nib.
So, have you learned how to restore piston fill Schaeffer's?
I can do touchdown snorkels, lever fillers, vac fillers is the
I didn't
next level.
I didn't ask about those.
I haven't graduated to the vac fillers yet. I'll admit it.
Ernie Drown fixes mine for me, Rob.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
And he learned from what's his name, Bender.
Hey, wait. Can you
Richard.
fix vac fillers, Rob?
Hell no.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like admonishing me for it or something.
No, I'm like, no, it's not. That's where the big division is.
Okay, right.
It's
That's when
between,
you go to the pros, right?
I can do those that you're talking about,
Yeah, okay.
but it's the piston fillers that's up here on the higher level.
But people are like, "Oh, you can fix a snorkel," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty easy actually, as long as you don't mangle the sack protector. Which, if you're careful, that's not hard to do.
No, I hate fixing them.
It's fiddly and a little tedious getting it all apart. That's the only real difference. Like a lever filler, that's like a 5-minute job, mostly.
Yeah, mostly. What about the 30 Schaeffers with the cracked lever bars?
You mean cracks where like the pin is or something, or
pressure bars. I'm sorry, pressure bars.
Oh, that I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I managed to jerry rig a couple things, to get a working pressure bar in them for various reasons, but
yeah,
things that have like the hanging pressure bar and stuff like that, I just cross my fingers. I cross my fingers and hope that the one that's in it is usable, because I don't know how it's supposed to come apart or any of that.
With the pressure bars that are a single piece that would have 3 strands at the top and then a U-shaped thing at the bottom.
Yeah.
They corrode, and one of the thin filaments on the outside breaks, and then that's when the lever won't work properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't get them out and reinstall one so that it works perfectly.
Right. You could probably stick something in there that would sort of work, but the lever would be, it would
the lever would
drop and
yes.
Yeah.
Floppy, yeah.
Like a lot of sharps have levers that rattle because they're not being, held closed tight enough by the pressure bar.
There, Marilyn?
All I know is that this is probably the best pen that has been ever invented. It's an eyedropper.
Yes.
And it works. And it doesn't bloop all over the page.
And it has an inner cap.
And it has a boinga boinga in it.
Boinga boinga, yes.
Oh.
You guys in this boinga boinga thing. Oh, wow.
Oh. Have you seen my calligraphy that I do with the birthday message?
I'm going to turn into a pumpkin shortly. I've finished my beer.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys can stay and chat if you want. Oh, what happened?
I'm still here. I'm just
doing
trying.
Something. Switching cams over, I guess.
Maybe Marilyn has a pen cam.
I do. I have a pen cam.
I am not that sophisticated.
You're about to show us how that thing writes? Is that what's happening? You're switching.
I am.
Wow, look at that. Oh my God. Look at that. That is
like we're living in the future, I tell you.
It is. It has a lovely.
You're right, Pierre. That is a nib. And she knows how to use it.
That's my problem. I have some awesome pins and some pretty cool nibs too, and I don't know. I'm not that fancy with them.
You've got the instincts. Yeah, very nice.
I got a hold of a Waterman 94 the other day, and I was telling Pierre it feels like I've been handed the keys to like a really fast race car, and I'm stuck in a parking lot doing circles with it.
Yep.
Yay, boinga.
Very nice.
Boinga,
Very
boinga.
nice.
I mean, you just know when you get something in your hands that like it's capable of things that you aren't capable of. You
So
know?
what was did the 94 have a 4 nib or did it have a keyhole nib in it?
4, I think.
Good Lord, I can't remember. I don't think it's a keyhole nib because it wasn't like color coded. It's just like a normal fine flex. It's not anything crazy. It'll go to like 2.2 millimeters if you really push it, but
It's one of those chrome trimmed gray and red.
Gray and red, yeah.
yeah. The trim's a little on it, but I don't care about that.
Everybody always talks about these $1,000 Grail pens, and I'm like, I got my $200 Grail pen right here.
You did well. You really did well.
Thank you, Pierre.
You're welcome. I think I am going to go off to
Sleepy land.
Rob, it was really good having you.
It was nice talking to you too, Pierre. I'm going to go.
Hi to Rob for a minute at least.
That Effects Denal and you got to meet, and I have forwarded to your Instagram Effects Data's thing. So,
Yeah, I take some pin pictures of some of the stuff I have, so I don't know. You might find a little bit of it interesting, I guess. I don't know.
well, but
You'll
you
see what kind of taste I have, anyways.
you
I
can.
would love to see it.
It's a way to text back and forth anyway. If you find something or want something. Okie dokie.
I'm starving, and I'm gonna say goodnight also.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Have yourselves a good one.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Pleasure.
Bye. Bye.